Hey, y'all. Sorry, it's taken me a little while to get on here. I've had a lot going on the last several days. So, hope everyone's doing good. Thank you for coming. So, I want to start off. Y'all know me, I just dive in. Start off by talking about the red truck, the one that Jody Sue said she saw. And remember, she said it was like a duller red. It wasn't like vibrant or anything like that. So, who close to this story has a red truck? Well, we have Tim Mullins. He owns an 82 or an 88, I think it is actually, a Toyota. It's dull. That could be. Then we have, this is assuming the red truck even exists. Then we have Robin, who inherited a red truck from her uncle, which was wrecked and could possibly be repainted. Then we had her, after she received the red truck, ruled that out. Okay, I'm not convinced that the red truck even exists. Maybe it does. Then we have Jody Sue's mom, who also has a red truck with a ladder rack. And we heard that her son was driving it that day. Now, we don't know if that's true, but that's what was said. And apparently, Jody Sue spoke with Fred Hill, and we got to take it with a grain of salt, but that Jody Sue told him that they won't find it with the ladder rack on it. And I also heard Jody Sue say something about a small silver car going up the driveway. But I can't find that video, and I don't have the time or the patience to listen to all of her videos. I find it very difficult to sit through. Like I said, I'm not 100% sold on the red truck. But it's been brought up for a reason, whether it's to deflect or maybe it is legitimate. But we have 3 people with a red truck that put themselves into the picture after the fact. And I have to ask myself why. I mean, surely to goodness, the police have looked into these vehicles. I suppose they were able to rule them out, but it's odd. 3 people with red trucks. And I heard that they have searched hundreds of red trucks. And I don't know what in the manner that they were searching these vehicles. Like, I mean, was it with a dog? Was it forensic? I don't know. Was it just simply finding out where they were that day? I don't know. I just find it odd. And this is my opinion only, but I find it very odd that Jody Sue, who was supposed to be very sick at the time, walked all the way to the end of the driveway and planted flowers. It seems like the whole neighborhood was planting flowers that day, and it's weird. And let me show you. I don't know if all of you have seen the videos of when I went to Rogersville and also Kingsport, but let me try to share my screen, and I'll point it out. I'll stop it but I want you to notice the end of her driveway. I see nothing like that. Now, I'm not saying that she wasn't doing it. I'm just saying I didn't see flowers at the end of her driveway. As a matter of fact, their driveway is way, way more rugged than Dawn and Candace's. And it's just straight back into the woods. So, okay, I'm going to share my screen. I think I'll just, it's 6 minutes. I think I'll just play the whole thing, and I'll stop it when I get to Jody Sue's driveway for those who haven't seen it. So let's do this. Share screen. If this works for me. Oh my gosh. Here, okay, wait, it might work, y'all. It actually might work. Okay, y'all know I stink at this. Okay, so this is when, now I do mention, I want to point this out. I do mention this was my first time over there, and I mentioned a church that I pass on the left, and I mentioned I know that they went to church at one of these churches near their house for a period of time, and I thought that might be it. It's not. Solomon is at the end of this road. I have video of that too if you want to go find it. But the church that comes up on the left is actually where the police set up like all the equipment and search teams and like the command center. Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and play this. It's 6 minutes, not very long.
And I'm about 2 miles from Ben Hill Road, but it is absolutely beautiful. I mean to tell you, beautiful. Just beautiful pasture everywhere.
See if I can make this bigger.
I heard that they attended church on
There.
Beach Creek somewhere, and I don't know if this is it, but it might be.
But it's not.
Okay, I'm a half a mile from Ben Hill Road. And I believe I'm here. So yes. So this is actually the Wells property, and up there is Grandma's camper. This is actually where Summer lives. I'm kind of tempted to drive up there. I don't know.
Take the next right onto Ben Hill Road.
Maybe I will. I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie. Ben Hill Road. Okay, I'm turning. Okay, dead end. I'm not going very far, y'all.
In 600 feet, you will arrive at your destination.
So all this property to the right is Dawn and Candace's property. There's the school bus up there. I don't know if you can see it. There's the creek.
You have arrived.
Pretty decent creek. So posted. So this is their home. So I'm going to turn around. You can actually see the house up there. Purple mailbox, school bus. So I'm not going to disturb anyone. I'm going to get off of here as quick as possible. Very, very. So I don't see go back this way to the left and see if I see that shed. So there's their house up on the hill there. Very steep, way steeper than anyone can really explain unless you're here. So there's the shed. So there's the shed. Okay, now, having seen this myself, it's very unlikely to me that someone climbed that hill and took summer. Now, I'm from the country, and that's a heck of a hill. I'm going to turn around and go back by. Okay, so coming up here on the right, you see those two signs. And the property actually starts right about here. Try to slow down so I can. Okay. So there's the shed. Up there, let's see if I can zoom in. Up there is the house. Very, very steep. It's impossible to describe to you how steep this is unless you see it. All of this is the Wells property. I'm tempted to drive back down through there again, but I don't think I will. I felt like I. So there's that, and there's Ben Hill Road. All right, we're gonna go on, and
Well, that did not work out like I thought. I'll just leave that in there, but actually I cut it off right before I got to Jody Sue's driveway, but I can visualize it perfectly in my head. And like I said, it is much rougher than the Wells property. And it's not even like an open area like the Wells. It literally, you might go up like maybe an incline of like 2 feet, and then you drop and go back into the woods. There's no flowers there. I mean, it's just woods on both sides of the driveway, and extremely rugged. I apologize. I thought I had it and I didn't. So my apologies. Anyways, okay, I want to talk about something that was brought up between Ziggy and Benny Keys. Well, okay, first I want to say that I've had some suspicions about Jody Sue and Andy. I missed this point, this video of hers, but maybe you've seen it. But what they were talking about is Jody Sue explaining Andy's pornography, saying that over the years, the girls in the videos kept getting younger and younger. Okay, and he's violent, and he's on drugs, and that's a bad combination in my opinion. We've had Fred Hill state that he physically saw Dawn and Andy on Ben Hill Road that day on June 15th. Now, Andy was supposed to be on video at work. There's so many lies by everyone. So, was he there or was he not? Did he leave for lunch? Or was he on video the whole day? I don't know. But both Andy and Jody Sue were both at the Wells property the 14th and 13th of June, 2 days before Summer went missing. And that's when Jody Sue saw Summer getting out of, trigger warning, the shower with Dawn. Everybody overlooks that. There's been so many people. It's been her. It's been True. There's several people that have seen this, and nobody did anything. So, was Andy there? Was he not? I don't know. But I know that they were both on the hill at Dawn and Candace's 2 days before Summer went missing. That's very sus to me. There are also RSOs that have been in the area. You got Frank Light. He's a very bad guy, very, very mean person. Also friends with Dawn and Candace and familiar with that property. And there's been Randy Hass. He's an RSO. He's an ex-police officer. I did a story on him from Sullivan County. And he was down there using a computer. It was either, I heard two things. It was either Jody Sue's house or their parents. So I'm not sure, which house he was at, but there seems to be a lot of people with the same interests that intertwine. And an ex-law enforcement as well. So, and there, in my opinion, there's other RSOs in the area that are just not convicted of anything or been caught yet. I mean, my opinion, Dawn, Candace, and at least one other up on that hill, not to mention others in the area. That's, my opinion. And then we got Jessica not being out, speaking out on, I want to say Daisy's channel, and has been unable to provide any proof that she's been talking to Grandis. I think she may have, but it's just the dysfunction of all of this is sickening to me. Summer has been missing for almost a year, and in my opinion, Grandis, Candace are out there playing games with people. Candace saying in 2 days, she's going to come on and talk. I honestly think that Grandis likes to play games as much as Dawn and Candace. I mean, they're like partners in crime. It's pathetic. There's a little girl that the public seems to be more concerned about her disappearance than any of the adults. And I use that word loosely, adults. Grandis and Candace both out there looking for love connections. They're like dogs in heat. You got drugs, you got alcohol, you got dating sites, you got trips, camping, fishing, concerts. It's enough to make me want to vomit. And they're out there playing games with people on YouTube. Playing games while Summer's missing and the boys are gone. Let's go over some of the verbiage and actions coming off that hill. We got Dawn's famous statement. We'll see her in the resurrection. First interview. As if he knows she's gone. Why so absolute? First when she first came up missing. That is not, you hold out hope if you have a child that's missing. If you know she's just like disappeared. And this one's always chilled me to the bones. He always knew ever since she was born that something was going to happen to her. I even heard him, I don't know if y'all heard this, but I even heard him say that he felt like it was like an angel giving him insight to the future. Do y'all remember that? Why would he think something was always going to happen to her? That is chilling words. You know, it makes me wonder if he's messed up in a situation and has been for a long time. I mean, his friends are dealers, RSOs, and he's had a nasty drug habit his entire life. We can't forget, allegedly, trying to sell or trade his first 2 children. I personally believe that story. Do you remember me sharing that story about his oldest son that with his RSO issues that he could have gotten out after 1 year, and because his mom and his dad, Pam is his mom, were so strung out on drugs that he had to serve all 3 years in prison. But this is the same man that wouldn't wish prison on anyone, even if they were the ones that took Summer. But he allowed his 19-year-old son to serve 3 years in prison. He couldn't straighten up long enough for him to get out. So that's really sus. I mean, he doesn't want the person that took Summer to go to prison because it's the worst thing in the world, but he allowed his own son to remain in there. Fishy. And he said he kept telling the law enforcement on June 15th that she wasn't there. And he said they wouldn't listen to me. I knew she was gone, but they wouldn't listen. That says a lot to me. He felt like they were wasting their time as all these people are out hunting for their daughter. He knew they weren't going to find her in those woods. The interview with Dawn and Candace with Ainsley Daniels, the first one she spoke out with, he's like, I don't want to think about it, but she might be dead. No tears from either of them. Who can make a statement about their child like that and not fall to pieces? I know we've talked about all this stuff. I know. Trigger warning. I've wondered if Candace had, and I truly don't like thinking about this, but it seems in the realm of possibility to me that Candace had been pimping Summer out since Dawn is so tight with the money and he doesn't want to give her any, and she's got a drug problem herself and would need money to get it. And listen, it happens. I did a story not long ago about a mother that was on drugs, and this man propositioned her. The woman decided to take him up on that, let her little girl go with him. I think she was 5, if I recall correctly. And he ended up doing horrible things to her and killing her. And the mother's story was she woke up from a nap and she was just gone. The front door was open, and that wasn't true at all. So it happens. I mean, normal people can't wrap their head around that. I can't. I'm sitting here looking at little Summer's face. I don't know how anyone could do that. But her little girl was precious, and that mother did it. It happens. And, if I've wondered, if Candace has done that and the person who she turned her over to didn't bring her back. And that's why they say abduction. I think Grandis would know if that was happening. But if that happened, they could honestly say, I don't know where she is. They could even pass a polygraph test on, do you know where your daughter is? No. If that happened, they wouldn't know. But they would be involved. I haven't said this before, but in my opinion, Warren Hare, and I've done a story on him too, that's Grandis's brother. He's a very violent RSO, and he's the one that got released in October of last year. But I've thought, and I don't think it's so far-fetched to think that Grandis could have some of those tendencies too. And that's just my opinion. I mean, we see Candace allegedly hanging out and grooming younger boys, in my opinion. We could speculate that grandma isn't allowed around her grandchildren for a reason. Now, I'm not saying it's true, but in my opinion, it's possible. And these two women are out playing games with people. About 3 weeks ago, I just popped in. I don't really like this channel, but I popped in, and there was a woman that came up on panel, called in, and they let her up. And she said she was on Ancestry.com and was looking up Summer's name. And there's only going to be one Summer Moon Utah Wells in the whole world, I think. And she said that there was this woman who had looked her up 2 weeks before she had came up missing. 2 weeks. Why was she looking her up? Makes me wonder. That has stuck in my head. What was it, a planned abduction? Possibly the parents are involved. I mean, remember Dawn slipping up and saying her hair had grown? So did the parents arrange for Summer's disappearance? And who would have her if they did? I mean, I don't think it's either of their families, because if it was family, I think the police would have already found her. I feel sure that they've had to reach out and talk to Dawn's sisters and, Candace's sister. I just, and I've thought, well, was it to settle some kind of debt? We haven't seen any grieving by these adults. And Dawn always knew something was going to happen to Summer. And to get back to Jody Sue and Andy for a minute, they were furious because Dawn and Candace backed out of selling their property to them. I think Jody Sue was more than Andy. But she seems as unbalanced as the rest of them, in my opinion. She recently took her daughter, woke her up at 1:30 a.m., to go and spy on Andy and his new girlfriend, allegedly. And the things that she was saying to her daughter, in my opinion, 14-year-old girl, so inappropriate. Why bring a child into an adult situation like that? I mean, her daughter even said, I almost forgot what he looked like. And then she said, a child shouldn't forget what her own father looks like. Jody Sue didn't even acknowledge that. It went right over her head. That's too much for a child. And we can't forget Jody Sue saying that Andy told her and the kids that he saw Summer's dead body out of Jody Sue's mouth. And I take everything she says with a grain of salt too. We've heard the boys went to work with Don. We've also heard that they stayed home, no one in, no one out. We heard the scent went down the dog trail, but actually it went down the driveway. Fred claims that he saw Candace walking past his house. Now, grain of salt. But why was she there if she was indeed there? Why was she walking past his house? Was she passing Summer off? I mean, all these crazy things go through our heads because you can't make this up. It's like every single person in this case is just like not credible. Even neighbors aren't credible. We know that Candace left the hill twice. We know that she was pissed off at the police for saying that. Is that one of the times she left? She walked off that property with her phone? Because obviously it dinged. And then Fred says that Dawn went to his house and was doing drugs that night and talking about seeing Summer in the resurrection. This is the very day she disappeared, and claims that he was acting perfectly normal, like nothing happened. And Candace didn't want to talk to the police. She told Allie, I ain't going to go talk to them. She was in the house, remember, playing with her hat. I do believe that. 2 people saw it. Now, I'm not saying they're credible either. They lie too. Everybody. And also, the night Summer disappeared, Dawn went to Frank Light's house, and his dad, and you can Google it, and I've got a story on it if you just want to go look it up. His dad was literally the drug pen of that area. Huge business. He was selling oxycodones to a guy in Georgia, and that guy opened up like a drug clinic, like an oxy, whatever, you're trying to get off drugs, whatever, and selling the drugs that he was buying from Frank's father down there. And it got busted and shut down. I got a story on it so I'm wondering, well, okay, so his dad's really old now. It's like in his 80s, I believe. So did Frank Light take over the family business? I mean, Cher on Voices Behind the Wall put out a text where Don said he owed $50,000, and I've got it posted in my shorts, my shorts up at the top. And he also told Prairie Garden of America back when she was talking to him all the time, because her and him were pretty close. I mean, he was even talking about leaving Candace for her. And he told her that he owed money too. That's 2 people. We've heard the Subaru is paid for. We've also heard that they have to make $650 payments. You can't drag the truth out of any of these people. And remember, Cam and Allie was going to go out and look for Summer. And this really bothers me, and I've brought it up before. And he was like, hey, do you know where this tunnel is? And Candace was kind of like mocking him, making fun of him. And her response to him was, I don't care. I don't know. You're not going to find her. That shook them too. Awfully certain. These people are awfully certain about certain things for someone that don't know. Dawn says no evidence. He can't catch charges. These are like not normal things for a parent to say. Then we got Grandis. She didn't take a nap. She did take a nap. She walked all the way across the yard and stood at the edge of the bank and watched the boys go down there. But she's in a wheelchair. The last interview with Ansley Daniels. And can barely get around, but she did that. She told us in that interview she didn't go swimming. She couldn't remember where they went. She thought she knew where they went. And in the TikTok video that Candace made, Summer and Hunter, and she was there because she was holding the phone. We didn't see Grandis anywhere. And thanks to Shannon having been at the house volunteering to help them get their life in order, their home, which they didn't appreciate. They didn't appreciate anything anyone has done for them. But she got Percocets that day. I don't buy anything these people say. If my daughter or my granddaughter went missing, I would be replaying that day in my head over and over and over. And I would pinpoint every move we made that day, every second. But these people have hours missing hours, not minutes, hours. And I believe they know where she is. I do. But at least who has her or took her or they gave her to. And let's just bring up Tim Mullen a minute. Oh, I wanted to know, does anyone know what David Dotson drove? I'm curious because Jody Sue did say that there was a silver car she saw that day, but Andy also drives a silver car. I remember hearing her say that. So if anybody knows that, I would really appreciate that info. So Shannon was on a panel the other day, and I asked her what kind of vibes she got off of Tim Mullins. And she said she got very creepy vibes, that he made her feel uncomfortable. And that anytime they were up there, he was up there, he would walk the perimeter of the house over and over. And I mean, even Grandis got kind of irritated with him and threatened to shoot him in the butt with a pellet gun. And he would just kind of talk in riddles and I know she says that Tim told Grandis, I know you're mad at me, but you're not really mad at me, and we got to let this play out, and just really odd things. And he does speak in riddles because I've talked to him, and he'll say something without saying it in a way. I don't know how to describe it to you, but I mean, is he there for the documentary to make a documentary? Was he following? I mean, things like this go through my head. Just a speculation. Let's just play what if. Was he following the Wells? Did he see them out in public? Was he droning their property before Summer went missing? He's got all those capabilities. And I remember in one of his videos, he said something like he was shocked when Candace was in the parade such a happy time. And here comes this mother of a missing daughter. And he says something along the lines, I might have seen her before, but I don't know. And he said, I might have reached out and touched her shoulder, but I'm not sure. But when he said, I might have seen him around town before, that piqued my interest. Like, had he seen them before? I don't know. Or is he just simply in it wanting to cash in on Summer's disappearance and make a documentary? I mean, it could be just that simple, but this is a man that just popped up out of nowhere, allegedly not knowing the family at all, but may have possibly seen them around. Something doesn't add up. Well, nothing adds up in this. It's so frustrating. I know I'm frustrated. I know we're all frustrated. And people are going at each other's throats out of frustration, I believe. And I want to bring up, because this bothers me again, Brad, 423 Chase, wanting to have Summer's shoe brought to him, the one Benny found. Why? Why does he want why did he want that shoe so bad? All of these people, all of them, want this to go away. But we're going to tell you, Dawn, Candace, Grandis, Tim, Andy, Frank, and anyone else who might know something about Summer's disappearance, we're not going to let it go away. Because what's important here is finding out what happened to Summer and seeing them brought to justice. Summer deserves to be found, and YouTube, as much as they want to hate on YouTube, we're not letting her name go cold. We still talk about her almost a year later. And a year is too long for this little baby to be missing. Oh, and let me mention something about, because to me, she's a baby. And I've mentioned this before, but this is something that Tim said that just really kind of irked me. Kind of like Dawn saying, oh, she's a lovely young lady. A lovely young lady, 5 years old? That's a baby. And then Tim, like I said, something about texting back and forth, something about this baby girl needing to be found. And he goes, well, let's get something straight. She's 5. She's not a baby. She's a baby. 5 years on this earth, that's not very long. It's not very long. And, something else I was thinking about, and this just flies all over me. Candace used the excuse that she didn't have the gas money to go and make it to court for her boys. If those were my boys, my butt would have been walking if I had to. I'd have started the night before if that's what I had to do. I'd have hitched a ride. I'd have caught a bus, whatever it took if I wanted my boys back. And she don't even seem to be all that concerned about Summer's disappearance. They want it to go away. I believe they'd be happy. And they're awfully convinced that there'll never be any evidence. And that bothers me. That really bothers me. And all the people that they allowed around these kids. It's disgusting. Candace has lost every child she's ever had. 7 that we know of. Man. It's really upsetting that we all want to know where summer is so bad. We know the boys are safe, but we don't know if summer is. And I don't like the statistics. I try to, I don't know. It's just very upsetting. I guess I'll end it there. Sorry about throwing that video in, and I was going to show you that Jody Sue didn't have any pictures, but I wasn't able to do that. So I apologize, but at least it didn't hurt to see where they lived, I guess. Anyways, appreciate y'all, and hope you have a really good evening. I'll be tied up in a little while, so have a great one. I'll talk to y'all soon.